or AI tech, which, by the way, has extreme amount of risk to it. And a lot of times those things they never even hit profit lines. Here we are.
We are back in the studio.
Yep.
And we've got a special guest with us today.
Got a super cool guest, man. This is actually, you know what's cool about this is one of our fans about Big Talk, which is really encouraging for us.
It is that we actually have fans.
Right, number one, and we're not getting paid.
No, I know.
So this is worth it.
This is the reward.
And he's also an aspiring entrepreneur.
Okay.
And I did used to work with him, as a matter of fact.
That's what you just said. Yeah. I'm not. So we've got Shawn Coltfarber with us.
Is that how you say your last name?
I think the T's silent, but I didn't find out until I graduated college. So.
Okay, sorry, Shawn.
Yeah, my friend was like, the T's silent. You're supposed to say Shawn Coltfarber. And I'm like, what?
Sorry about that.
Right?
I now know, yes.
So he taught you how to pronounce your own name. Is that it?
Yeah, right when I
love that.
That whole weekend before you graduate, that's when I got to know. Like, he's like, yeah, your mom told me this is how you say it. I'm like, okay, let's go with what he says.
That's crazy. I love it when people try to argue with me about how my name is pronounced.
Oh, you've got the hardest name in the world to say.
I don't know why. It's
Zweig? Zweig?
Long I. Budweiser. It's the whole key.
Right, exactly. Just Zweig.
It's not that
You know how
hard.
many times I've had to correct people on your last name?
I'm sure.
It's been insane. So
I hear you. So Shawn probably corrects everybody because they're going to throw the T in there like I did.
No, I don't do that because I was the one that messed up my own name. So.
Right, for many years.
Oh, wow. So you used to work with Shawn.
Yeah, we worked back at White Spider together.
Yes.
Back in the day.
So that's cool.
So and you're at Flywheel. You currently are employed. So here's a little, I think from what I understand here, Shawn, right?
Yes.
You're still employed or looking to start your own business.
Yeah, and it looks very hard. You know, it looks like one of those mountains that, and I would like to do it in software. And so that even creates more complexity. Really, it's, when the opportunity presented itself, I was like, well, any advice to just get me pointed in that direction would be helpful.
And so for the record, like you are a software engineer yourself, right? That's what you're employed to do. So this isn't like you're not your typical, I have a software idea, business. Right? And you're on the sales side, right? You're a programmer at heart. You know what you're building.
Yes. I even know the customer that I want to build it for.
Well, hell, that's
so what seems so difficult to you? I mean, I'm just curious. You've got the skill and you know what your problems you want to solve. Why does it seem like it's so onerous?
So the idea is it deals with banking. That's one of the things that creates all this complexity. If you ever look at banking, we're only really working with the person that's in the front office, the one that takes your money, the one that tries to correct your problem. Well, if you start seeing what actually happens at a bank, there's a whole other area that people don't even know about. That's the back office, where they actually do the work. And I've been at 2 different banks before I came and worked at White Spider. And the jobs that I had at those banks were not programmers. The first job was a process design and engineer. And when I worked at that bank, it was such a big bank that the stuff that we were working with was only a few software programs that we were helping our customers. There were over 800 people make sure that they could do their job. And if there was a roadblock, we had to fix it. And then when I switched to another bank that's a lot smaller, I was kind of the IT guy that was supposed to fix everything. And that was a little more of a struggle for me because it's like when you go in and you look at the problem, really it's like, oh, restart your router. And sometimes we couldn't go on site, but we had to like walk somebody through what they needed to do. It's like, so I got to be really familiar with my phone and how to like, hey, can we FaceTime?
Right.
Oh, you see that one that has the red blinky light? Can we like turn that off and turn it back on?
Where's the on-off switch, Shawn?
Why can't
That's
it be
the
so
next question. That's what I'd ask.
Or it was like these.
Mark's your perfect client.
Yeah.
There were other intense problems like I need to get into the software and I locked myself out, so let's get it done right now.
So typical like back office IT work for financial institutions is what you're.
Yeah, there's a whole array of what those people are doing, but they don't have the tools to do it. One of the things that you see them do, a lot of times you get a letter from the bank and it's because somebody's like got a Word document, deleting out your name, typing it in, and it should all be automated, is kind of the way that I think. And a lot of times it's just because the resources or all the money is going to make sure that your checking account balance is correct. Like one of the things that when you look at what they pay for that and then what they could pay for something else that's like a nice to have, it just doesn't get there. And really, when I look at the problem, it's like I always think of the old ladies that are working in the back. They're like your grandma, and it's just like they just need 3 more years to retirement. If you could treat them right, man, they give you cookies, and you're just like,
yeah,
like
smart.
That.
Yeah. When I was young, it was the word processing pool. And there were always cranky old ladies that ran that.
Yeah.
And so if you take them out to lunch once a week, whoever the head of that was, you could get your typing done.
Oh, nice.
Okay, yeah. So you had to have a relationship with them. Otherwise, you go to the bottom of the stack.
That's it, man.
That is it. Well, one of the things that you, like, because of my responsibilities live somewhere else, and I didn't have a lot of the tools to help them get where they want to go, it's like, well, that's not a today problem. That's like the future problem, and it's like, so like I can see the thing that they need and I've probably built it 3 or 4 times. I also see how to cut down on a lot of the problems that they have because, not all banks are the same. It's really these banks that are in that middle tier where they're starting to think about getting IT. Like a lot of the stuff is just outsourced. Whenever they think about like putting in a server, it's going to cost them a management fee. It's already going to cost them all these things. And really, it's just like, I need to get in front of those people and then help them save money. Because that's really what business is all about. It's not, first of all, they think, well, you're just going to be expensive because you hear software. And then secondly, how can you save them money? There's a lot of places that you can find fees that they're getting paid, that they have to pay other places. Well, really, you make them a system that streamlines all that stuff, and then you start taking money from the other people that pay, they have to pay. And that's kind of really what I need to like figure out how to get started or give to the world.
Okay, so that's what you want to deal with.
That is.
So what's the problem? Again, why can't you package up your offerings and figure out a scope of services and pricing model and how you're going to go to these people with an offer, sort of productizing what you've got?
So the big problem is getting the money to cover from, the thing that I've heard is we have a heroin addiction to our paycheck. And I can see that being a stopper or a blocker for a lot of people. And then on the other side, when you start working... Is
that you? Is that what you're talking about?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. If I don't have that stopgap to get the first customer to prove out the product...
So do you okay, so this is... I think I'm tracking with you now. So are you saying that it's difficult for you to go find and acquire a new customer because you're too busy working full time during the business hours, right? That you should be talking to your customers. So I can understand that paradox a little bit. However,
I have created a website.
That's good.
Yeah.
So, but however, what I would say though, Mark asked a pretty important question that I think that maybe a lot of entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs will skip past, right? Because we think, if I was in your position, I'd be like, I have to have more time during the day to go see these people. Mm-hmm. When reality is I think that if you kind of took what Mark was saying, what is your presentation look like, right? Like I think I would really perfect the product offering, the value propositions. Because one of the hardest things I think in business is clearly, quickly, and simply articulating what it is the hell that you do.
Oh my God. That's so true. And all the student business plans that I see, I tell every single one of them, I've got to know exactly what this business does within the first few moments of reading this. If I can't figure that out, I'm done.
Hey, listen, this is like Steve Jobs, like high level genius stuff, right? Like how do you take something, and every business is extremely complex. Your business you just went through, although the solution's simple, the problem is extremely complex. I'm
not sure the solution is. I guess I'm not totally sure what Shawn's going to be doing. Is he writing software?
Well, yeah, but I'm going to say like this: the idea of a software containing the idea that this is a software that solves a bunch of problems. Now, I mean, the mechanics behind the engineering and all the functionality may be extremely complex and all the different things it deals with, but I think that the solution of being like, hey, I have a software that solves a lot of these problems, that offering's fairly simple. But I think the roadway to communicate all these problems so that somebody on the receiving side can go, I understand what you're talking about. I understand that's my problem. Yes. And you've hit those bullet points because, like, in the sense with, like, I face a lot of these issues just within my company, and I'm full-time. Yeah. And I have full-time people in it. And the problem is still plaguing us of this articulation, this value propositioning. It's so often overlooked. I don't think the answer for an entrepreneur is to have full-time capability, because if you step out there and you don't have that value proposition done correctly, you actually have a big chance of burning the hell out of a lot of cash and finding yourself in a worse situation.
A lot of clients that you should have been working with.
Yeah, because your number one goal is to drive revenue, right? Yes. Like you have to get clientele. And I would say, like, instead of going, how do I get out and be full-time, it's more about how, like I would put a goal in my brain. If I have my lunch hour, can I go see a client once every day throughout the week? And I can sell them in that
two
hour.
times, or in the morning,
and get faster at it. But can I go have a meeting, and I can sell in that meeting? I can close a deal in me. That would be an ultimate goal, because if you can figure that out, then going full time is worth it.
Yeah, really. If I had my first customer, I wouldn't be as stuck as I am.
I mean, my reaction to what you're talking about is, it needs more definition for me, because I didn't really follow it. I heard of a service business more than I heard of a software solution. Okay. Secondly, I do things like, if you were putting out a lot of content on LinkedIn about these are typical problems or this is a typical problem I see in the back office of a bank, and here is the solution for it, or this is a typical problem that people have, but they're not dealing with it. The more you do that, the more hooks you're putting out there in the water where people are going to go, hey, what is the answer to that?
Yeah.
Or, can you help me with the answer to that? I like people calling me, if I can, and then having that lunch meeting.
Yeah, that's fair.
So doing things that sort of set the hooks in the water to drive the demand, you don't want to just have one possibility and then work that all the way through. What you need is like 5 possibilities.
So one of the things,
now, I think,
one of the things that I struggle with is I can talk about it more on the banking side. So like one of the things you may not understand is there are so many different regulations that the government has put on a bank.
Yes, I do understand. Heavily regulated.
That they have to generate a letter for every single one of those things. And so like my first job when I was here was bouncing between different departments, building out a database for garnishments, a database for Reg E, a database for reclamation, meaning if somebody died, you need to tell them that their account is now frozen or the assets that are in there, and that you need to go work the legal system before you come back. There's all these different letters.
Yeah, sure.
And it was our full-time job to build these databases that were just like an Access database or an Excel spreadsheet that would just automate, if this department's doing 20, this department's doing 10, this one over here is 300, just trying to help each of those back offices so they didn't have to manually do it. And that was at a bigger bank. And at the smaller bank, really the bosses, they're aware of the work that needed to be done, but they didn't want to get into the weeds to be like, oh, maybe we could fix that problem for you. But, once you build a solution, then they're like, oh, wow, we can't get rid of this solution,
Sure, it's difficult to unhook. There's no reason for them to. That's the great thing about a mission-critical software, as we all know, right?
For sure, yeah.
You want something that people have a hard time unhooking from, they got to keep paying you for. But back on your thing, so again, it seems to me like if I was going to market whatever it is that you're trying to do, I would want to be starting out with some kind of audit of where the client is.
Yeah,
I would have my checklist of all the things that they're doing, whether they're doing all the problems that you could help them with.
Yeah.
You need to have a complete list of all those and say whether they need it or not.
That's a good idea. So I could see him like this, and I would see like a pitch like this, like if you go back to the LinkedIn thing, like you're just popping out messages. Hey, so-and-so, my name's Shawn. I have this product, or my name's Shawn. I would love to come in and do
back office efficiency analysis or something, right?
Yeah. And and I think that there might be like a little free teaser to where you go in and you spend 30 minutes talking to a few people, and then you can pitch back a more comprehensive audit that actually pays you.
Yeah, or you have to fill out a questionnaire.
Yeah.
Like here, if you're interested and if you feel like you've got some issues in your back office that could make it more efficient, fill out the questionnaire right here. It's free. Yeah, here's a link. Boom.
And then once you do that audit, then you have a software that solves all these problems from your audit.
Right. Exactly. That's it. Then here's the solution. Boom.
So one of the other things with banking is they don't make moves for two reasons. One being, like you guys just said, an audit. So like they pay third parties to come in and say, well, oh wait, you're not clearing this. So we need to now make this solution. Or you need to figure out how to prove to us that you are sending out these letters on a certain cadence. And so, I was part of the team that had to generate a solution within 2 weeks because, we have an audit that just came back that if you guys can't prove this, then you're out of compliance and now you're in trouble.
Yeah, you'd risk your FDIC insurance or whatever, right? And
so it took two people in 80 hours of work to figure out a solution that, and that was the funny thing, in these bigger banks, it's not anything like they can't go to the IT department to fix it because they've got programmers and all that stuff. Because if they did that, that's now 3 months out, you got all these processes. And so we cobbled something together. And then over the next 2 months, we put in like those, nice to haves, I guess, the things that keeps your old ladies in the back room from quitting because they're just like, no. The other reason why they would want to make a switch to a different product is if they've all of a sudden had a problem because they merged. Whenever you merge, that was one of the things that I got to see. I got to see two mergers. Whenever you merge, everything's just blown apart. And then you're like, it's the CEO's fault. He's got to figure it out. And so then Like, you can't really just say, oh, I can help you with that, because all their problems are, you need to fix this process here, you need to fix that one. How do we streamline over here? And that's not the time that they're going to want to have that advice.
Sure.
And then the other side of it is when you start talking to smaller banks, well, that's a nice to have. I don't really need that. And so it's like, when I started thinking about this problem, I know the customer that I need, like how many branches they have. I know how many they have. I also know that it takes them 3 months to decide on anything, because one of the things that they're trying to figure out is, do I really need the software, or can we just like add 5 more bodies, to fix this problem? And then it's like there's no way to like incentivize them. And so then, like, one of the things that I learned in the back office, like how I would start this business, is attack a problem that already has a fee generated, where in their process, they just decide, we're not going to do the work over there. We're just going to credit the account because it's too expensive for us to even do this. But I don't know how to have that conversation with somebody when they don't even know I exist. I
still am not sure that what you have is a complete software sale you're trying to make, as much as it's a consulting service with a software element to it.
Yep, that's good.
Okay. And I mean, to me, it's the audit. That's where it starts out. You look at everything they're doing and you go, okay, these are the problems that we see, A, C, and G on our list. And we can solve that for you. And this is what it's going to cost you to solve that. What you just said about mergers and banks, super common. That's a great market to be serving. They probably have tons of issues, as you said, with this kind of a stuff. So, I mean, if you're part of a team that's involved in the integration of these two things, again, it's going to start with an audit of how each one's doing it and then finding the best way, I would think, as a part of the merger process. So what process, whose process are we going to use for this problem? Who's got the better plan of the two entities, But it all starts with an audit. I mean, you need to think about what you're selling exactly, articulate that, as Eric said, make the offer. You got to come up, I think you got to have audit service that you use in order to diagnose exactly where you're going to go with this client. If you make them a proposal as a front end, you need to promote yourself so leads come into you, so you don't have to go call on anybody and try to sell them. You want them calling you. So, I mean, you got a variety of ways to do it. You can build an email list, the banks you could find the banks, and whoever would be the one that you need to appeal to with this, or you can use social media, predominantly LinkedIn, to sort of promote what you're doing.
Yeah. And I would say, like, I agree with Mark. Like, I think you should really consider that that service. Like, you have a managed service business that has tech stack behind it, because that might, one of the, things of dealing with software in my career, like it's not an easy road, right? It requires substantial capital, a lot of risk, and it's really hard to sell. I mean, it really is. Whereas, to your point and to Mark's point, like, hey, when mergers happen, I know as Shawn, because I'm an expert in this and I provide great service.
I'm the guy that figures it out.
That causes these 4 problems, right? And so out of those 4, here's one that I can fix. I have 100% confidence in. I know, like, for and by the way, that same problem exists for the majority of banks that are going through mergers. And so now you have this leading service that you can target banks that are going through mergers, and you hit them with that dead-on value proposition. The price is right. It might be an audit, could be something that fixes something, but most likely, to Mark's point, an audit's good because it takes the sales out of the customer, right? They don't feel, and they shouldn't. And if you do it correctly, you're doing it as more advisory. Like you come in, I'm going to take a look at this, make sure you don't have these further pitfalls. That's what I'm good at. That's what I can do really well.
I specialize in.
Really specialize. It's not, oh, by the way, this isn't a 12-month agreement that blah, 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 and all this stuff. It's a one-time fee. It provides instantaneous value the second you walk out of that office. That's another big thing. It doesn't have this long-term, wait until I get some value out of Shawn's, I got to pay
Shawn $100,000 a year to start to sell.
It's not cumbersome,
no.
blah, 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 and all this stuff.
Real low risk.
And to your point, the ladies in the back office are going to be immediately happy because Shawn came by today.
Mm-hmm. He actually asked them about what they're doing or whatever, right?
Yeah, and then he fixed the problem and now the culture's happy.
Yeah.
That is substantially valuable, right? And so to Mark's point, like if you can narrow it down into this customer segment with the specific thing that they need, with, a couple of products that give instantaneous value. They're not cumbersome. They're not complicated. It doesn't require, and then by the way, you're local. There's some other value props to this, to where you walk in, you're in person. It's not over the phone. It's not through some software. I don't have to download a new software. I don't have to. The second you say software to banks, I imagine they're like, okay, let's send that to IT, as you probably know. How does this integrate with our big mainframe?
Ready to level up your show? Podcastvideos.com is the premier podcast recording studio, equipped with industry-leading technology to save you time and hassle. We specialize in marketing and distributing your podcast, ensuring it reaches listeners everywhere. From eye-catching promos to targeted social media outreach, we help grow your brand and audience. Visit podcastvideos.com today, and let's elevate your podcast game together.
Of other software
or compliance. Is this how is this going to actually be compliant?
Yeah, and then here's the thing, Shawn. Yeah. If you narrow this down like Mark and I are discussing, this is going to answer a lot of your question about what your other one was, is how do people even know about me? Well, if you narrow it down, now you can talk more deeply about these 4 problems that are with mergers and acquisitions. And then you just start talking about it generally on LinkedIn. Start writing some content. You do some video shots.
Doesn't have to be a big deal. This is a problem I encountered. This is how you deal with it.
Exactly. You go out and you get on other shows and you discuss it on some banking video podcasts and whatnot. You just kind of work that. And then you start becoming known for that. So when and then if you have some supportive issues and you see the mergers happen, then you send a solicitation out. Oh, by the way, don't forget to connect with all the bankers.
Right. Build your list.
Build your list.
Yeah. Go where the bankers are, wherever they are. Is there meetings?
That was one of the things that I did do when I was working for banks. People love to connect with you if you have title of a bank on there.
Sure.
Right.
So my LinkedIn went from, I think I had 300 to now I have 6,000. I don't know, probably about 3,000 of them. The other half is, in the CPG space because Eric introduced me to a lot of people.
Yeah. Sure. But I think that, there is, and Mark and I have talked about this a hundred times. People often, especially in today's time, overlook the value and the opportunity of service-based businesses that provide legit service. They're the majority of businesses that are out there.
They're specialized too.
Specialized services.
Yes.
Let's tell Shawn a little bit about why that's such a good thing versus, because I'm with you. You worked in IT in this. You've been a software developer. Like, how are you going to think about specialized services? And like, that's probably might be a negative thing and a little bit foreign, but some values to me is like you can basically build a price sheet right now. You could do that. And this is what I'm talking about. Your question about quitting your day job. Don't do it, because here's what you do.
Right.
Spend the time building your price sheet, thinking about the value proposition.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you can do that on your own right now.
Sure.
Right. And you really don't need a whole bunch of help on that. And then I'd say a huge value is that you have immediate clientele that might have needs. And to me, being able to walk in, here's the biggest thing: immediate revenue, right? Versus trying to get somebody to buy software.
Yeah, that takes a long development cycle. Then I got to get outside financing. You don't want that. That's the last thing you need, in my opinion.
Well, I was kind of thinking of going the approach of what I've seen Eric do. White Spider, we had a product that was called SKU Ninja, and I got to support it. I mean, it's still living. Like there's customers. I just sometimes feel like if it was priced right, it's like priced to get people in the door. And then maybe if it was priced so that we could continue the offering, then it might be something that continues until I die,
Yeah, don't forget, though,
what's
that Eric started his business as basically a consulting firm.
100% service.
Okay. That was an outgrowth of being in that business and seeing a problem that was recurring. They developed the software to serve their clients and then said, oh, by the way, this can be a product. Is that not a fair
100%.
statement?
I mean, we built it to make us efficient at providing services.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I mean, to me, again, I think, we're really hitting on something that you need to consider, and that is consider yourself more of a consultant to improve back room operations.
Sure.
More broadly, and as a part of that, you may have this software solution. There may be other software solutions besides this to deal with other problems that are in the back end, right?
Yeah.
Not just the letter issue and compliance or whatever else. I'm just saying it's just one tool that you can employ that does have recurring revenue associated with it, which you want, right?
You need to you need to flip the chess pieces here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Think and don't let this discourage you, because
No.
the expertise that you're driving, the consultancy, that's what's first. You walk in, you might have already developed a software at 80% right now. And so you could legitimately, if somebody would just buy the damn subscription and fix it for them.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
I promise you, that sale is incredibly difficult. Whereas you could still have this tool, go and meet on the consulting services, provide instantaneous value, instantaneous revenue, credibility, and then you're working that job, and then you're over here using your tool to make yourself efficient. Now you have a competitive advantage in your consulting businesses that nobody else has, because you have a tool in your back.
Yeah.
Oh, and then by the way, after you work with them for a period of months, you're like, hey, all you got to do, like I've got everything built for you in this tool. Just subscribe to the tool, and I can lower my consulting services down. And now you're just paying the software to do it. Let me train you real quick, and it's done. A lot of times, but the problem is we've taken this software thing and we put it on the front end. And when you do that, that's what you hear all the VC, the capital, the private equities, all this crap that's going on in the world in Silicon Valley. They're all dumping billions and millions of dollars into building a whole team to build out a software tech or AI tech, which, by the way, has extreme amount of risk to it. And a lot of times those things they never even hit profit lines.
Yeah.
They sell on the red but that whole game's so different and foreign to what you
and low probability of success.
Very low probability.
Right. Whereas being a consulting business first has a super high probability of success. Low overhead associated with it.
So I do like your idea. Mm-hmm. I guess I kind of felt that I already went through that pain when I was at the two banks. My first job probably was more of a consultant than, and things that we got to see was like the problems. What happened when you're a big bank and you've got to transfer from one credit card or a debit card vendor to another. Yeah. Like it takes 3 years just to get to that point, you know, and then realizing that all these little things break. And then I've seen how it just becomes, oh, that guy over there in the corner, let's get him to do it.
So Shawn, unfortunately, we're going to have to cut soon. But, okay. All right. So to your statement just now,
yes,
maybe you know more about what you got going on than what we can understand right now. My point to you would be is if it is software, you are going to be left to no choice than to become a capital raising professional. And you're going to have to, now all the things we talked about building a value proposition and articulating that, now you got to go do that to a bunch of folks that have money, that understand fintech, right? And then you're going to have to go on this spree of raising capital in dollars. Once you're involved in that, then you're going to have to lay out the pro formas. You're going to have to do all this type of business side, which, by the way, will take you out of complete software development land.
Yeah,
everything you know.
Completely foreign territory.
Complete foreign. And so what I would advise on that basis is you should really consider maybe a business partner that is great at capital raising, and you're the developer that's built this tech. There is extreme value in that, though. I'm not going to discount this. So this whole dialogue is you're asking a really good question, which I think a lot of entrepreneurs are facing, right? Is like, how do you go, like, what's your right pathway, right? And I don't know that there's a right or wrong thing. There's pros and cons in going with a lot of them. Yeah. I would say that if your ambition is to, in one of your main questions, transitioning from employee to operator to your first question, I would like to be an entrepreneur. My name's Shawn. I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to have control over my schedule. I have this idea. I really want to get into this scenario, this new life, right? If that's your question, then I would say the fastest way to get there in the next 90 days would be going the consulting advisory service base, because you'll hit instantaneous revenue with your clients.
Right.
You could,
no overhead.
No overhead. You're in business, buddy. In 30 days, you got money rolling in. You can stop your current job. You can be on this track. If that's your vision and your desire, that's your way to go. If you are trying to be a software developer, okay, now your circumstance changes. Now you're going to have to do one of two things. You have to go get some capital for somebody to support you to spend all day. Now you borrowed $50,000 from somebody, and you're burning through that cash. It's probably fans and friends and family. Yeah. Whose feelings are you going to hurt when you burn through the capital and you never raise another dollar? Yeah. You're going to be in that game, right? And so that's going to most likely deter or postpone this desire to be out on your own.
Yeah, and the probability of success in that latter scenario is a lot lower than it is in the former.
No, it's very fair.
Okay. I'd say it's probably 10 times easier
you remember,
and more likely to succeed going just selling consulting with this as an option to solve their problem, the software solution, than it is going the other way.
I want to make a big point. At the very beginning of this conversation, Mark goes, after you were talking, so what's the problem? Why aren't you in business? A lot of times entrepreneurs don't understand the value of what they already know. And I think that in order for you to go out in the consultancy, you should have a high level of confidence you can be successful at that. You actually do have that ability. Now, do you see it? But I think that that's to Mark's point, right? Is that why aren't you doing it? Because you already know it. There's not anything, honestly, blocking you from being on your own as an entrepreneur in that capacity. On the software side, there's about 100 blockers.
Okay. Before we close this off, can I give you guys something?
Yeah.
I just wanted to thank you guys for your your encouragement for this community and what you guys are doing.
Look at that, man.
Look at that, man. All right.
We're working on getting one big enough for you to put a ball cap on.
Hell yeah, man.
What do you think? We could stick this cap on there. It wouldn't be very good.
What's that? Oh, yeah, that one?
Yeah, it's a little big for that.
Well, here, put them down. Let's see if it works, man.
It even says Big Talk on there.
Oh, man. And,
dude,
that is awesome. Shawn, that's wonderful.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, there we go.
So you do.
Get his cap right. On there right, dude. Come on.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, there we go.
So you bust these 3D prints out on your own a little bit. It's kind of like your hobby, right?
Well, yeah, I just learned it 2 weeks. I mean, within the 2 weeks, trying to figure this out. So
that's hysterical.
I'm still working on another one that you can put the cap on it.
Hey, man, it's like the Mount Rushmore of podcasting there, isn't it?
It is, man.
With these two.
If you guys ever need to give out awards, the Big Talk Award, just let me know. We'll make them up. And
oh, man, that's awesome.
Let's get this done.
This is great.
Put your questions back in there, Mark, before we.
But I want to make sure that if Shawn wants to come back and talk with us about this again.
I like that.
Okay.
If you get your plan a little more formalized, I think it'd be great. I think it'd be helpful.
I really like this dialogue. I think this is a good platform for the show.
It's useful to people.
It is.
A lot of people are like Shawn.
Yeah, and we thank you for bringing this to us, right? Yeah. Like we appreciate you reaching out. I think that this is hopefully it's been valuable for you.
Absolutely.
It's always valuable for us, and I know it will be for the listeners, because I imagine there's a lot of people in your position with the questions that you're asking, right? Which is, I think, the whole point of the show.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And until next time.
It's been another episode of...
Say it with us, Shawn.
Big Talk About Small Business.
Thanks for tuning into this episode of Big Talk About Small Business. If you have any questions or ideas for upcoming shows, be sure to head over to our website, www.bigtalkaboutsmallbusiness.com, and click on the Ask the Host button for the chance to have your questions answered on the show. Stay connected with us on LinkedIn at Big Talk About Small Business. And be sure to head over to our website to read articles, browse episodes, and ask questions about upcoming shows.